Hi, my name's Candace. I did my presentation on divorce. I chose a topic that I have never researched before, and I guess I had no interest in it, which made me pick it because I wanted to learn more about it. Divorce is also known as dissolution of marriage, which is the termination of a marriage or mutual union, the canceling or reorganizing of the legal duties and responsibilities of marriage, thus dissolving the bonds of matrimony between a married couple under the rule of law of the particular country or state. Divorce should not be confused with annulment, which declares the marriage null and void, with legal separation or with de facto separation. So with the annulment, if you don't send in your paperwork 30 days after you get married, then it's an annulment because you didn't send in the proper paperwork for it to be recognized as a legal union. So that's why an annulment and divorce is different. According to Leopold, the view of women bearing the highest burden of divorce and requiring more public and private support than their ex-partners is partly based on solid evidence, which a lot of the research that I've seen showed that women who are getting divorced do carry the burden of a lot of the household responsibilities. Even when children are involved, they carry the highest burden of keeping up with the household, the daily living for the children and themselves. And with just one income, it is a burden, which many women do need public assistance and outside resources to help maintain their daily living that they were used to before the divorce. The seemingly clear picture gets clouded when put into a larger context of divorce outcomes. Divorce effects and gender differences therein extended into various spheres, including the changes of the economic status, health and well-being, domestic arrangements, and social relationships. With any partnership dissolving, you have to go through the burdens of course, your economic, your health and well-being diminishing or possibly increasing depending on the type of union you had, and the social stigma of being divorced that a lot of people are still ashamed of. So that could be another reason why the health is declining, because a lot of people don't want to talk about it and they carry the burden and the stress all within themselves, which actually hurts them in the end. Several studies have reported that men were more vulnerable to the adverse effects of divorce, including larger health declines and lower subjective well-being after separation. Although men, within the studies I found, are more financially stable after a divorce, their health declines, usually in part from what I read, because the women took on the household responsibilities as far as bills, food, things like that. Now the men have to worry about all their financial stability, clothing, housing, things to help them maintain. And if they weren't used to doing that for themselves, then it does decrease their health because they don't have someone looking out for their well-being. They have to do it for themselves. The problem, divorce is a national disease affecting the solidarity and integrity of American family life, which is one of the most challenging social problems of our age. Divorce is threatening the very foundation of family and national life. It was evident that few people grasp the seriousness of the total situation because they are not acquainted with divorce records, which extended back to 1867. Back then, there was no real terms and means of divorce. They followed more of the church rules and guidelines. That's why a lot of divorces didn't happen. You were stigmatized and ostracized if you got a divorce. It is a well-known contention that divorce damages society. According to research in the United States, divorces damages society as it consumes social and human capital and substantially increases costs for governments. The scope of it all. In an average year, about 2.4 million marriages occur and 1.2 million divorces occur in the United States. So that's close to half of people getting married and people getting divorced. Numerous studies have shown the economic cost of divorce fall more heavily on women, which I stated earlier. After a separation, women experience a sharper decline in household income and a greater poverty risk. Their former husbands, in contrast, may even improve their standard of living in post-divorce years. Not talking about the better standard of living as far as their health and well-being, talking about their economic increase, because they are no longer supporting their entire family. They get to invest more within themselves and save more, as opposed to women who usually in divorces, if children are involved, have the children in the household. So that's another added expense that you don't think about with being the sole parent in the household. Although the father may be contributing, it's split differently. And if the woman is maintaining the household, that's a household that she shared with her partner, which most times are split with you paying one part of the rent or mortgage and I pay the household bills. Now certain things are falling strictly on the wife if she wants to maintain the household with her children without their daily life being interrupted, which is why women often fall into poverty when they get divorced and they need more social supports and community supports to help maintain their living. The risk factors and people affected by divorce. The explanations that I found that gender inequalities highlighted 4 factors for women. The first is higher economic need and restricted earning capacities in the presence of children, which I stated before. With a lower income sometimes, or the income they had, it's hard to stretch that household budget just with one parent. Insufficient child maintenance. Usually in domestic partnerships, a husband and wife will split the duties of staying home with a child if they're sick. Now with the divorce, many women carry the sole burden of having to take off, which is losing money to take care of their child. Disproportionate loss of income, which is often not fully compensated by spousal maintenance. Some women don't seek spousal support, or if they do seek the spousal support, it's nearly not enough to what they need to maintain their household. Human capital deficits resulting from gender specialization and division of labor during marriage. That's pretty much stating that, unfortunately, most men make more than women in the workforce, so the women are pretty much, again, lacking the income to take care of her household by herself without the means of her husband supporting her also. Divorce diminishes children's future competence in all 5 of society's major tasks or institution, which equates to family, school, religion, the marketplace, and government. In addition, divorce also permanently weakens the family and a relationship between children and parents. I've seen that growing up with friends and family members who are products of divorce. You either go with one parent or the other, and it's usually picking sides of who you want to live with, who do you trust, who do you who you're kind to, pretty much, who do you see as the bad person who broke up the family structure? Children are the most vulnerable members of the family as a result of divorce and conflict in general, which is true because usually children don't get a say as to what they want or how they want to see things happen. They are just pretty much pawns in a big scheme of a divorce. They go where they're told, and they usually don't have their feelings taken into account when it's dealing with adults. In the United States, children from divorced families or born into divorced families face more problems with their studies or more difficult life and cause more trouble for their parents compared with children with a normal family structure, which is true. Usually children of divorced families, depending on the age of the child, if they are not able to express themselves in a counseling setting, those emotions and feelings get expressed through school, through fail to do homework, for example, or just acting out, being aggressive to teachers or students, a lack of interest, and just being pretty much a problem to the school or their family by lashing out and sometimes going into a shell. Divorce carries a lot of psychological, emotional, social, schooling, and economic effects to all members of the family, which I stated previously. Children are the most vulnerable, and it's hard for them to express themselves, also depending on the age. Sometimes they aren't allowed to express how they feel, or they are not taken into consideration as to what the next step will be. And again, it shows through school, it shows through the home life, and some children just aren't able to manage those emotions and feelings. The studies also show that children from divorced families are more likely to suffer depression compared to children from normal families. I agree with this fact because children of divorced families, it's not always the case, but they aren't heard and they aren't listened to, and they go into their safe space in their zone because they don't know who to talk to. Sometimes they don't see mom or dad as the bad person, so they don't know who to turn to about what's happening with them and how they will be able to move forward, how they will be able to maintain their normalcy. And a lot of people don't recognize that children also need their normalcy. You may be going through something, they are going through something much worse because they don't know how to cope, or they don't have the tools to understand fully what the next steps will be. Children often respond to divorce with insecurity, loss of self-esteem, and repressed feelings of anger and loss, which could be manifested as aggressive or withdrawn behavior, which I stated before. They don't know what to do next. That's why I see that from all the research that I've done with this project, it shows that children are the most vulnerable during this step, during this process, because they are pretty much the last people on the totem pole when it comes to the decisions, and it's either get with it or get lost in some cases. And it's sad because a lot of children don't know what to do next, and parents don't talk to them about the next steps. The most celebrated divorce case in history is that of Henry VIII versus Pope Clement VII. The battle began in 1527 when Henry tried to force the Pope into annulling his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, who failed to give him a mere hire. Henry determined, he finally broke with Rome in 1533 and declared himself the head of the new church, which was the Church of England. After that, he, 3 years later, married Anne, which was a very controversial marriage, which resulted in the end of her committing treason, adultery, and incest, and she was later beheaded. With that, Henry's marriage to Anne led to precisely one divorce in England in 1552. I found that to be very interesting considering Henry's reputation of being an adulterer, that his young wife was beheaded because